My name is Sarah Paulim.
My name's Joyce.
My name is Wendy.
My name is Patricia.
My name is Violet.
So my name is J.R. Guo.
My name is Kaylin.
My name is Tam Thuy.
My name is Sambal.
Because I believe everyone has the capacity to recover.
My name is Patricia O, and I have been living as a U.S. citizen over 40 years. I live with my son who has been going through a long and difficult process due to mental illness. It was after my son graduated from high school and entered college that I began to notice changes in his appearances and strange behaviors. My son had no Asian friends from elementary school until he graduated from high school. And most of his friends were Caucasians. My son was very athletic and he enjoyed almost all kinds of sports, and he still is to this day. He is an active Dodgers and Lakers big fan. However, his best and favorite sports are swimming and surfing. He was a gold medalist in swimming competition when he was in elementary school in Illinois. Also, since his school, he always enjoyed surfing in the ocean with his friends, and they remained close until graduation. After my son graduated from high school and was about to enter college, I noticed that his appearance and behavior were gradually changing, but I didn't know the exact reason, and I didn't even think about it seriously. I wanted to ask him, but I was afraid he would be upset about me nagging. So I just watched him and kept quiet. I thought my son would only have a brief moment of fear about his new futures. But I believed that everything would be fine once he got used to his new life in college. But after a while, I realized that I was wrong, and I started thinking about what I should do for my son. My son avoided all contact with his Caucasian friends and stopped answering their calls and visits. In fact, he didn't want to meet anybody except his own family. I thought my son was struggling with identity issues. So I sent him to Yonsei University in Korea for a summer school for second-generation Korean Americans to learn Korean language and culture and customs for a month during the summer vacation. After he returned from Korea, he remained isolated and seems to have no motivation, no desire at all. I was so sad. I was crying every day, and sometimes I really wanted to give up on my life. But I couldn't because it is against God to do so. Later, he transferred to a 4-year Christian university, and he had a hard time adjusting to living in a dormitory with new environment again. His symptoms became more severe and he suffered alone by himself. And then one day he went to a Christian seminar. After the seminar, he transferred to the theological seminary. But he suffered even more and struggled and eventually returned home. In the end, I begged my son to go with me to the expert. Eventually, we went to a psychiatrist doctor. After the interview, the doctor diagnosed him with schizophrenia, and I was shocked that I couldn't believe it and couldn't say anything for a while, but I got my mind straight and followed all the doctor's instructions. And so my suffering and the long journey my son rejected all the doctor's directions. My suffering and the long journey began with my son's recovery. I tried to give my son medication in many ways, but all failed. So I was very stressed and I started going to counseling for myself and took medication for my depression, and that helped me. I prayed hard for God's miracle for my son and our family. Even now, whenever I have a hard time or need help, I pray to the God. And then I feel better in my heart and feel more at peace. My faith is my greatest strength in my life. Ever since I found out my son's mental illness, I tried my best to get all information about mental illness issues for my son's recovery. I shared my journey with people with lived experiences, and I met professionals also. I found good sources. One of them was NAMI, and I completed the Parents and Family Support Group Educator Korean course and got my certificate. A few months later, I started working at APCTC as a peer parent partner. I worked for 9 years and I retired 2 years ago. I shared with parents regarding our similar situations, and sometimes I comfort them, gave them courage and hope. I encouraged them, and I sometimes empathized with them and spent dealing times together. I also learned a lot from them too. Sometimes when a client's parents thanked me for my help, I was very happy, really appreciated. While my son was living with me without taking medication, his conditions got worse, and one day I felt threatened. So I called 911 and my son was hospitalized for 10 days. After he was discharged from the hospital, he'd be stable for a while, then his behavior and the symptoms would start over again. So my husband and I rented an apartment for him not far from our home. After living in the same apartment for 8 years, his symptoms started over again, so he had to move to a different place. Somebody recommended a small private board and care house for my son. After he lived in that board and care house, he began seeing doctors and taking medications like other members. And after he took medications regularly, his condition improved very quickly. My son recovered a lot at the board and care, and his conditions became stable. 6 months later, he moved back home in good condition, and he really took good care of himself, from ordering medication to refilling it. He did this all by himself. He started attending church with me while he went to the English service and I went to Korean service. He had a good relationship with church members and enjoy fellowship too. He lived almost like a normal person, and we lived happily together. He helped me a lot at home, and he went to Dad's office to learn easy work 3 days a week to help his dad. I do not have any big problems living with my son so far. However, as a mother, I wish for my son to live well, to break out of his isolated life, and hopefully can get a job. I also hope he will have a good social life with church members and make good friends. I hope that he and I continue to have a mutual understanding with respect. I finally pray that he will spend more time with his dad and have a conversations as a grown man. Recovery is possible, and we as family members need to continue supporting their recovery. Thank you very much.